Night 16 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Some say it shouldn't have been played, but we had
Oh my
three
God, hit
interesting
the
games.
intro.
Oh, whatever. AJ's on tonight, folks. We couldn't tell. Good evening, everyone. It is August 26, 2020. Interesting night in the world of sports. We'll break it down here on Teal Town After Dark. If you want to be part of the show, you can chat with us and fellow hockey fans in the YouTube chat on the page or the app. And of course, follow us on the social, on the Twitter machine, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, and of course, our Discord channel. And of course, for more Sharks content, hit us up at tealtownusa.com. Joining me tonight, AJ Strong. How are you, good sir? Good to see you.
What up?
What isn't up?
You know what's up? Scoring in the NHL playoffs. That's what's up.
Unless you're Boston, then you just didn't show up.
Mm.
All right. Well, let's break down these three games, and then we'll get to the elephants in the room. And boy, it's crowded in here, per se. Let's begin. Islanders and Flyers. AJ, what did you think of this one? A 4-3 victory in overtime after the Islanders give up a 3 spot in the first period.
What happened to the Flyers that I saw in round 0? Can somebody tell me that? Like, and you know, they got through Montreal pretty handedly. Dude, I think a lot of people have slept on the Islanders, man. I got Flyers going all the way in my bracket,
Right.
which of course is completely destroyed, by the way. But
Whose isn't?
Yeah. But hey, they got over the hump, tied it up, best of 5. But dear Lord, man, Carter Hart, where are you, buddy? I mean, where's the guy we saw in those first 2 rounds? Yikes!
He seems like he's had like good stretches, and then oh crap, those are bad.
Yeah.
And then you'll come back with a really strong performance, and then it's bad. And Semyon Varlamov had that Islander shutout streak going for quite a bit, and then he has a hiccup, and especially tonight or this afternoon, 3 goals in the first one. Thomas Greiss gets into the playoffs.
Future Sharks backup, Thomas Greiss. Just saying.
But
dude, I mean, Kevin Hayes has 2 points, so that was nice to see. I mean, they rattled off 3. Why Hart couldn't, they couldn't lock it down, but credit the Isles, man. They are just, God damn, I think a lot of people overlooked them. They kind of said, okay, they got some, Pajot and Barzal. I mean, it's not like they don't have talent.
No.
But I still think a lot of people were just kind of like, yeah, the Islanders, it's kind of like, pat them on the head, give them a participation trophy, and you'll be gone soon, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, they're like ready. Well, obviously, once we get past a virus-filled world, the new park, Belmont, is going to open up.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, people got a reason to be jacked for Belmont and this whole team right now.
Big time. And Barzal has his goals here and there. He had a couple of assists or 1 assist today. But it's Anders Lee. It's JG Pajot, as you said. But Anthony Beauvillier has had a strong playoff. I mean, not just, I think he had like 2 goals in the clincher against Florida. He's had a couple more, I think, against Washington, and he's got 7 in the playoffs. And I don't think anybody really, you would have picked Barzal to lead the Isles in goal scoring, not Beauvillier.
I really want to be there at a conversation when Beauvillier goes to a winery, and it's like sommelier, Beauvillier, sommelier. No? Only the wine people will get that.
Oh, I'm sure he's booking his trip to Mum in the off season.
Yeah. Hey, has anybody checked on Brad Marchand? Is he okay? Is he like told anybody? Is he called anybody a peasant yet? No.
Right? No, not yet. No, no. Andy, Bleeding Teal, you there? We're ready. We're ready for you to make your encore. But speaking of which, boy, they said some people may not show up in the world of sports tonight. Boston really didn't show up tonight. The proverbial yikes, with Tampa scoring 4 in the second, 2 in the first. I mean, they're up 6-1 after 40 minutes, and
funnily enough, Marchand, the lone scorer for Boston in this one. I think that's great. I'm looking around and I'm looking around. I'm going, I don't see Goodrow on the score sheet, but all right. 7 goals. Jesus Christ.
right. And at the same time, you're like, oh, Tampa's up 2-1 to take down Boston. Yes, take down Boston. And then at the same time, oh, great. That pick's getting further and further closer to 31.
You're right. But I mean, you got to give it up for the Lightning responding after losing. Or I mean, wait a minute. Hold on. What am I looking at the wrong thing? I thought this series was tied.
No, this was game 3. So Tampa's up 2-1.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing because this was a back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think after going into overtime, I think the Bruins if memory serves, didn't Boston? Oh no, it was only 3-2. See this? I've watched so much hockey; it's all starting to like conflate all the scores. I'm going. Wait a minute, who beat the crap 5-0 in the game? Oh, that's right, that was Vegas and Vancouver. Okay, so I get there, but I don't know. I feel like after Boston got that first one, okay, Tampa got over their Columbus thing, so that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I felt like, okay, Boston probably had a little bit of BDE coming in, and boy, big pee-pee slap today. So we're going to see how Boston responds in Game 4. But I mean, I think they don't. I think if they don't win, if Boston doesn't win Game 4. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lightning, win this in 5.
All right, AJ going with if Tampa wins their next game, they win the game after that.
I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me either if Tampa gets it done. Then again, I felt for oh crap, why can't I think of the backup goalie tonight for Boston?
Oh, Darth Vader.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, what's his name? Dan Vlader?
Yeah, right. I believe that's what the case is. Why can't I pull it up in my stats? Vladar or Vladar.
Dude, no one's pronouncing that. Dude, when your name is Dan and it's like Vader but with an L in it, dude, everybody's calling you Darth. Dude, that's what's rolling.
But it was interesting to see as they were outside the dressing room, and Halak's kind of giving him a pep talk because you could just see the body language that welcome to the NHL, and you get 2 breakaway goals scored upon you as you enter the game. It was just a big old yikes, and you felt bad for the guy. It was almost like David Ayers, but without him shutting down the team.
No. Dude got you might as well have just parked a Zamboni in front of the crease. Right. I mean, it was, dude, Vlad the Impaler. There you go. What are you going to do? And obviously we're going to see Halak back in, provided, just give Halak a little bit of rest. Maybe Tuukka gives him a little phone call and, hey, how you going? What's happening? Maybe they have a little talk. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we'll see Halak back in, provided we see hockey later. What remains to be seen at this point.
Right. Sure. Right.
But Oy.
And then this game that just ended. Wow.
Oh my
I mean,
Lord.
it's like talk about and now the soothing sounds of a 1-0 first period. And then we just go crazy with 9 goals in the last 40 minutes. Dallas and Colorado. I mean, Sagan gets on the board first. Then Colorado gets 3 in the second from Zadorov, Barakowski, and Landeskog to make it 3-1. You're thinking, okay, Colorado's on their way to getting a game back into the series, which, let's be honest, we kind of
Had to be
expect
done.
it had to be done, but you kind of expected Colorado to come back after the 2 games that Dallas took over. But then,
Well, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on how. You, look, one of the things I don't think is being considered enough when it comes to Colorado is everybody looks at them up front, and of course Makar. I mean, it's Zadora. I mean, they've got some people on the back end, but everybody looks at Landeskog, Nemestikov, obviously, all hail McKinnon. I get all that. Even Condry to a certain extent, but I don't think
Right.
enough attention is being paid to the fact that Grubauer is out.
yeah, I mean, and Francouz, and I mentioned it on one of the previous episodes. Francouz, after Gruber got hurt during the Stadium Series, had gone 8-2-2 before they paused. So they feel confident in him.
And hold on, is Lacey going to come in here and like smack your pee-pee for pronunciation problems?
No.
Everybody I've heard say is Franco, but
Francouz.
exactly, I hear 20 different pronunciations for half the teams in the league. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing for me is I thought Dallas is. I'm sitting there like I'm a bit of a realist, and I'm going, Colorado, man, they just got a ton of speed. But now the whole Grubauer thing, and I still don't understand what the hell he ripped. I mean, yeah, he had that left leg go out. It didn't look bad, but Chief clearly tore something that should not have been torn.
Right.
But I was like, I'm thinking, I hate to say it, but I'm thinking Dallas, you had a real fun first series, but I just think Colorado is going to win a run and gun, and I'm thinking Colorado in 6. And now I'm just like, Christ, man, this could be Colorado, or this could be Dallas in 5 after the first 2 games. I didn't expect it. And then tonight I'm going, okay, after 40 minutes, sure, all right, here's Colorado's game. This is the one where they get back into it. And then then 10 minutes later, I was like, holy crap.
Seriously, I mean, like, and then Dallas comes back. Gurionov, Como, and Ben.
Dude,
And
4 goals scored in 5 minutes.
right.
Wait a minute. Where have I heard that before? 4
Hmm.
goals in 5 minutes. God damn, that sounds familiar.
And without a power play, it's crazy. To make it 4-3, then Rantanen comes back like not even a minute 10 after that to tie it up for Colorado, and then Kadri with the tip like another 2 minutes after that to give the Avalanche the lead. Toronto's really kicking themselves for trading Kadri to the Avs for
Whoopsie.
I mean, yikes. I mean, Kadri,
You love to see.
7th goal. I mean, it's worked out very well for them, but you're getting contributions from Colorado from all over the place, and that's where you see that team. And that's why I thought if there's a team going into these playoffs, and Dallas has shown that they can maybe be part of that too. If there was a team out of the West that could take down Vegas, I thought it was Colorado.
Dude, I had Colorado in my bracket. I had Colorado getting to the final.
Yep. I believe I had mine as Colorado beating Washington for the Cup. Yeah.
I hate to say this. Well,
and then
okay, yeah,
that
your bracket is completely busted. I still have hope. For mine, I had Philadelphia over the Avalanche to the Cup, and so far both are still in. It can still happen. And what's just really jacked up about this Colorado Dallas series, I'm just like, we've seen the photo of Rocket holding up a sign that says, "I want you both to lose." I watch Colorado and Dallas, and I'm like, I want you both to win.
Right?
Like, yeah, literally, the name of my bracket is Avs or Pavs. And so I'm kind of bummed that they're actually playing each other in this round. Like, I would have loved to have seen Colorado and Vegas go at it in this round. Although the way Colorado has been manhandled by Dallas in these games, hell, Vegas might be up 3-0 in that series if it was against Colorado.
Right.
But, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, talk about it. That third period was crazy, and it was something I think this day needed, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you're right. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about watching the end of that game is there was a couple guys from Dallas that I was a little nervous about. It was Heiskanen.
Yep.
Took a bit of a shot. There was somebody else who took a shot early in the game. That didn't look. He didn't look exactly right. I'm trying to remember who that was.
I can't even think of it off the top of my head. I remember the Heiskanen one right around when Belmar hit in the empty netter.
Yeah. And dude, Pavelski getting a little dirt under his nails this series.
Save it for Vegas, Pabs. Save it for Vegas.
Dude, I don't remember him getting this deep into the mud usually when playoffs are around, but there's been a couple times where I'm like, whoa, dude, where's this coming from?
Yeah. Well, it's you put on new threads and maybe it's a new attitude. Who knows? So
they sit him next to Corey Perry. Perry's over there. Okay, this is what you do.
And then you have the long walk of shame after that.
Yeah. After two shifts?
Right. Jeez. So let's show the brackets here. With Colorado winning, here's the West looking at as it is. Avalanche win game 3, so Dallas still leads 2-1. They will play Friday night at 7 p.m. And then tomorrow night, it's the V Series, AJ. Vegas and Vancouver at 6:45. The series tied up at 1-1 there.
God, that's been... After game 1, I was like, oh, crap. And then after game 2, I'm like, oh, this could be a good series.
Right? Right? I mean, after game 1, we're thinking Vegas in 2 at this point, but Vancouver showed up. I was really impressed by them. Hopefully they can carry that on. And
dude, Jeff Patterson and the whole 1040 crew were riding high on the hog last night. Let me let you know. Because I called in after game 1.
Oh, did you really? Oh,
yeah,
I'm bummed I didn't hear that.
No, I called in and I said, look, I'm in San Jose. I don't have a dog in this fight per se. However, have you ever heard the phrase, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? And he said, of course. And I said, and he kind of chuckled. And I said, now, let me preface this. I listened to you guys a lot in 2011 during the playoffs, and I heard a lot of entitled Vancouver fans, and it kind of soured me to you guys. A lot of guys saying, oh, we should let Boston win one so we can win the cup at home in 5. And Patterson, like a trooper, took it and said, yes, I do remember that as well. Mm-hmm. And I said, so that soured me for quite some time, but you got rid of the dead weight that upset me back then, and now you've got some fun talent. You've got Besser and Pedersen and who's the other kid?
Quinn Hughes.
Hughes, but there's somebody else. Who am I missing? Horvat.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus
Jeez, he's what a
captain
beast.
Of the team. Yeah. So I'm like, you've got some guys there that it's like you got rid of the diving mentality that used to permeate that locker room, and you've got some really talented guys that are fun to watch. Even Chris Tanev, who I was not a fan of a decade ago, is starting to grow on me as coach. Now, part of that might have to do with the fact that after winning the first series, he was quoted as saying something like, how are you going to celebrate? And he's like, well, we'll figure something out after we get undressed. I'm sorry, what? Can you phrasing? But anyway,
yes,
dude's growing. He's getting under my skin a little bit. I'm digging him in the right way. So I'm enjoying this, and of course, it's going to turn me on more because it's against Vegas. So, the game between Vancouver and Vegas last night was fantastic. The fact that it's like, I don't know if they kind of said, maybe we need to look at tape of San Jose and Vegas from last playoffs, because that it was, I don't want to say a microcosm, but it was a kind of a compressed version of that, where you had the first game where Reeves is out there being his dopey self, his Muffin Man personality at 11.
Right.
And unfortunately, a couple of Vancouver guys were getting sucked in. And then what happened in game 2?
Yeah.
They flipped it, and Reeves, I think he might have gotten one shift in the third period. He only had 8 minutes of ice time, and that's the whole thing. If you can keep Reeves under 10 minutes of ice time, he's not a factor, and you've done your job. So,
and if you give Vegas a 4 spot early on, he's going to be out there the rest of the night just to get underneath your skin.
To do that and to spell the Stars.
And what was the thing, AJ, last year for the Sharks is that they paid so much attention to Ryan Reeves, and then after Game 4, they stopped, and look what happened. They win. They take care of the next 3 in advance.
And I would love to go back and look at what Reeves' ice time was the first 3 games versus the last 3 games.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. In the East, we have.
Who cares?
Okay. Moving on. Flyers and Islanders, they'll play again tomorrow at 4 p.m. The series tied at 1 in that one.
Come on, Flyers.
A Flyer, either one I think is going to be a good matchup for Tampa Bay or Boston. Tampa.
Needs to be Tampa.
It needs to be Tampa.
I need Philly and Tampa to play in the third round. Thank you. Thank you, NHL people, gods, whoever.
Let us get the 26th pick instead of 28th at the very least.
26 and 28. Give me a break. It's nothing. It's all, dude. We missed on every one of them. It was like, now that the Pens are out, then it's like, okay, so the Pittsburgh thing with Marlowe, that's gone. The Dylan thing, that's gone. It's all gone. And if you're clinging to, oh my God, let them lose around early so we can move up 2 spots. Give me a break. Forget it. Now, do I think the Islanders versus the Tampa Bay Lightning is a much more compelling matchup? At this point, yes, but I'm still rooting for my bracket, so I need,
You're right.
I still need Philly and Tampa.
Right. And then Tampa and Boston will play Friday at 4:30. So
what's funny is in all of this, if memory serves, somehow my bracket is still kind of like held together with like spit and glue and duct tape, because I could potentially have completely blown it on the first round and somewhat in the second round, yet I will have, if Philly and Tampa and Colorado and Vegas win, I pick the Final 4. So my bracket comes immediately back together.
It's crazy how that works sometimes. It's like, no. Oh, wait a minute. If this and this, all right.
Hold on. Let me confirm. I just want to confirm that.
I'm gonna answer the people in the chat while you look at that. RBG Productions, whoever did the Heimlich maneuver on the Avs tonight, give them a pay raise.
Yeah.
What's funny enough.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm talking out of my ass. I had Philly and Washington in the conference final. God damn it.
Oh, well.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, 3 of 4. Still not bad.
That's not bad. RBG Productions, whoever did the Heimlich maneuver on the Avs tonight, give him a pay raise. It's funny. Funny RBG says that because their video coach is who? Brett Heimlich, the former video coach for the Sharks. He's with the Avs.
Dan Ruzanowski over here all of a sudden with pulling all this information out of your ass.
Scar!
Oh, Jesus. Oh, speaking of which, we did not hear Donskoy score tonight.
No, he was he was a scratch. We don't hear
unfit to play.
Yeah, we don't hear lower body injury or upper body injury anymore. It's unfit to play.
I made what I thought was a fantastic joke on Twitter, and I got no reaction from it.
What?
Adrian Dater, who is a writer, he's essentially a cousin of. Now I mean that in the sports writer sense.
Right.
He's essentially a cousin of our friend Shang Peng. Adrian Dater does the Colorado hockey now versus, Shang on San Jose hockey now. Either way, Adrian is the only U.S. writer that was in the bubble for this game, Colorado and Dallas, right? And so he's passing along information, and he put, Jonas Donskoy is unfit to play. And I put, yeah, that's why San Jose didn't re-sign him.
Bum.
Right? And nothing. Crickets. Crickets.
And you had the gif of Fozzie Bear in there too. I was like,
right? I'm like, come on. Wyszynski asked Dallas Stars coach about the hit, which is Rantanen with Heiskanen, and Stars coach said, I'm not even going there with that one. Clearly, the NHL has set a precedent that if you say too much, you get a $25,000 fine, and if you don't say enough, you get a $25,000 fine. So they're going to just ride right down the fence.
It gets to the point, AJ, where it's like all you're gonna get is like the cliches. It's like, oh, we're gonna get pucks in deep, we're gonna go chase after the puck, and then we're gonna try to shoot and score, and that's how we're supposed to do it. It's like, really, and this is kind of what Evander Kane has always said. It's like, let the personality come out. But if you're gonna find $25,000, which in some cases is a larger fine than some of these controversial hits that happen in the regular season and the playoffs.
Well,
so, like, come on.
Jerk made a great point about Brindamore,
right?
On the 25K, where he basically said, "Look, how many guys are sitting on that bench? About 25, right? Yeah, everybody ponies up $1,000 and covers that for coach because he's standing up for
right.
you. So I can see that. Torts is on his own." I mean, he is just. I don't know who I enjoy. I'd have to go through a highlight reel, but you think of classic Daryl Sutter.
Oh man,
deadpan, bitter beer face, or Torts, who's just filled with profanity and is just going to let anybody have it. It just. Cracks me up.
When you remind me, because it reminds me of the Torts interview where Pierre asked him, how are you going to try and change your woes on the power play? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. Thank you, Torts, appreciate it. And Torts is chuckling up on the thing, and then it reminds me just now when you mentioned Sutter, when Drew was doing the interview. I think it was for an NBC game that was like involving LA. That
5 guys.
5 guys.
5 guys. No, 5 guys.
Oh, those are good times.
Yeah, but you got to give it up to Heiskanen. I mean, leads the defenseman in points right now, so that's awesome. I mean, dude is showing up. God damn, this. It's funny. It's just that it's the playoffs are so much more enjoyable when I'm not worried about the Sharks.
Right. You don't have the damn butterflies in your stomach. You're not about to throw up, or you're like biting onto a towel, or just going nuts about it. It's nice, but at the same time, damn it, Sharks. Can you get back into this damn thing again? Because you could have been in this one, and honestly, who wouldn't have loved the second round matchup between Vegas and San Jose as a rematch in this go around?
Well, I wouldn't have, because I think the Sharks would have gotten swept. But looking at here, skaters, out of all skaters, point getter, half of the top 6 are Avalanche. So that's why I was a little shocked that they were about 8-9 minutes away from going down 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoa.
Well, they padded their stats up in the last 2 games against the Desert Dogs. I mean,
yeah. Oh well, I mean, come on. Yeah, but you padded your stats, but the other thing is you only played 5 games.
True.
So you didn't have a lot of time to pad those stats.
True.
And I do like one of the comments here. Just want someone to answer the question of how did you guys win this game? More goals than the other team. It's a very Daryl Sutter
Hey,
answer.
can't get fined for that. You answer the question accurately. You didn't complain about the refs. You didn't complain about the ice. You know,
Five guys.
and yeah, five guys.
Okay.
Cajun fries to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate those.
Really?
Oh, not a Cajun fry, not a Five Guys fry fan whatsoever.
Well, you get a
Big.
small and you get a whole bag's worth for
Oh,
right.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. A bag of grease. Yuck.
Yeah, you're right. Burger's not bad though.
Oh, Christ, we're going to do this again?
Yeah, no, we don't. We actually need to get to the elephant in the room.
Yes. Okay.
Oh God.
Let's talk about this. Okay. Jonathan Marshall. Dude.
Oh man, that was fun last night. That did you see last night? Oh, that was happening as we were on air. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious?
The thing that here's my take on this. This is not his first rodeo with this.
No.
Like I thought Homeboy just got triggered or something, and he had now I gotta choose my words carefully here. I'm going to try to tread lightly. This all was centered around a photo of Jonathan and his wife. I don't think that photo had anything to do with it. I think it had to do with the fact that it was the most recent photo.
Absolutely.
Like it could have been a picture of a butterfly, a spinning rim on a Hummer. A picture of the sun. It could have been anything. I think it was the most recent one. It was the easiest one to access. So that's where I'm going to go.
And it's an anniversary post of all things.
Yeah. Now, there were a couple trolls in there. They were all trolls. I mean, they were clearly there to get under his skin. Now, there were a few trolls that made mention of his kids. And for me, that's always off limits.
Yeah.
They never asked for any of that. No matter how ugly the kid is, you don't bring it up. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've never seen his kids. I don't know that.
Oh my God.
But it's those are always off limits. However, there was one cat who didn't use profanity, didn't mention his kids, and basically said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, but it was kind of like, hey, when the NHL career is done, you've got a real good shot at making the Olympic diving team.
Right.
It was something along those lines. It was a chirp. And Marshall lost his mind, and it was something about he finished every response with "Don't waste my time, stop wasting my time," whatever. Which to me, every Canuck tomorrow, anytime they get close to him, if he says anything to anybody, to any Canuck, every Canuck needs to respond with "Stop wasting my time. Don't waste my time." That would be brilliant. That would be genius. So, but he had a profanity-laced tirade against us. Suck your mama titties and something else.
Oh yeah. Check your DMs. Somebody came up with a meme, and I didn't want to post it on here because it had some cursing on it, but it was priceless.
Okay, so what he actually says, and I'm quoting, so don't get offended. Be offended at
it's Marsha. So it's not us.
These are his words that he typed out.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it's funny that he forgot a word. He was so pissed off, but he put "shut the fuck, Lil Dick, Lil Lil," and go suck your mommy's titties and stop wasting time. So he didn't say shut the fuck up. He just said shut the fuck, Lil Lil, which I still get a kick
I think that was the guy's username though.
Okay, sure, fine. But then suck your mommy's titties and stop wasting time. Well, the meme might be wrong because I thought he said stop wasting my time.
Yeah.
Either way, I
do
remember specifically that it said shut the fuck, not shut the fuck up, which I got to. And again, it's like, how do you not just use STFU, number one?
Right.
But either way, my point is this. Hockey players, every game, are chirping each other left and right. A lot of them are quite clever.
Hmm.
There's a laundry list of them where you've got guys saying, you know, hey, turn around. What number are you? Who are you? You know, the
The
stuff.
Matthews one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really good ones. And so to see a player get absolutely triggered, and I'm not a fan of that word, but to just absolutely just, yeah, like why? And after a loss, you're clearly upset. But
Right.
why is your go-to social media? Hey, maybe you call your wife, maybe you crack open a beer, calm down a little bit. Like,
Right.
why are you even going to social media? I don't
It,
even get it.
like I said, as I went to bed last night, honestly, if I'm sorry, but if you respond with "stop wasting my time," literally, don't waste your time responding to trolls. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Stop, like, literally, you're wasting your time telling people to stop wasting your time. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, it's the infinity symbol. So
Yeah.
just, and my favorite part of this whole story is that they had a press meeting this morning, and before anybody could even ask him about it, before they even got into it, he comes out, apologizes, says it was childish. Because the funny thing about this is that last night on 1040, a couple people had either texted the story in or sent it to him or tweeted or whatever. And from what I understand, there was a brief mention of it, but he goes, but we don't, there's nothing being confirmed about that. We don't know if it's his account. And I get it. They're trying to cover their ass.
Right.
Meanwhile, it was coming from a verified account. So who knows? But they were trying to cover their ass. But this is not the first time he's done this. Like, there were receipts being posted of other times he had done it. So when he came out this morning and said, well, it was a very childish thing and it'll never happen again. And it's like, dude, this is like the third or fourth time. What do you mean it's not going to happen again?
What happens if
And
Vancouver
happens if
ties it
does
up tomorrow night?
What happens if it does happen again in a year from now?
Yeah.
So who knows? Either way, just to, again, uh, memories of Marchand whiffing on, on the shootout, and then and then him losing his mind. It's just like, professional athletes, why would you even look at social media
Right after a game.
well right after a game? Or maybe you consider doing, like, here's an idea. And what's funny is I'm pretty sure Joe Pavelski has this. I'm pretty sure he has two accounts. One that is like anybody can follow, and all he does is posts hockey related stuff, and there you go. And then he's got one that's like on lockdown, and it's only family and friends.
Yeah.
There you go.
Big time.
Problem solved.
Big time.
You pay attention to the family friends one. The other one, you post a photo to it once in a while, but you never look at the comments.
No. Yeah, totally. A couple of the other ones that were on there, it's like if you spent what was it? Your dog is ugly as you. Don't waste my time again. If you spent less time doing this on the ice, you might have more time to read my ugly tweets. And he was like really, dude? Come on. Like, seriously? Or we're going that far? It's like, don't talk about my kids like that, you ugly bitch. Okay, and that I get. I mean,
but the whole thing is that response just proves that it got to him. Like,
right.
that you literally fed the trolls.
Right. I mean, and that's the catch, and that's what the Canucks will use.
Make them come harder next time.
Oh yeah, the Canucks will totally use that. Are you kidding me? To get underneath them? Seriously.
Every fan. I mean, this. I don't want to say it went viral, but in the hockey community, there are a lot of people talking about him losing his shit last night. So, the next time he has a bad game, I don't care who it's against. The next time he has a bad game, dude, every fan base has the trolls.
Yep.
And when you give them an opportunity, they are going to come with it. So it's kind of your own fault, dude. You fed the beast, and now you're wondering why it's growing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you have that. You throw in the whole Alan Walsh treat with Marc-Andre Fleury and DeBoer's sword. I mean, oh my goodness! And like RBG saying, Canucks are going to win the series now in 5. Now that there's a distraction in the Vegas locker room, and I can't
God,
say
I
I'm
hope.
mad at that.
God, I hope.
Oh, jeez. And if you ever want to, freak out Vegas fans, we'll just remind you. Oh, I might have lost it. Yeah, I got rid of it now. But the picture of Fleury in a Sharks jersey at Vlasic's charity game.
Oh, yeah. What a waste.
Yeah. Uh, and then Logan
Speaking of
Couture.
the Sharks,
Yeah, right. What a segue. Then at 4:45 in the morning.
Christ
Which
Almighty, who's up at that time?
yeah, putting up tags at Safeway. Yeah, was a joy. And then all of a sudden, we get a ping from Rocket saying, "Dude." Logan puts out his tweet about getting sucker punched because he mentions about voting for the Republican Party and mentions Donald Trump by name. I mean, AJ. We try not to be political on here because this is kind of like sports are kind of the distraction of for real life and then fun, and like Tomas Hurdle says, fun must be always. But one, he got sucker punched. That's never good. But two, my goodness, I mean, like Rocket said in our chat, read the room.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. Like the only silver lining you could take from this whole thing, it's like, wow, this is the first time KMBR has tweeted about anything Sharks related in a year.
The funny thing is that you did that, and Amanda tweeted right underneath him afterwards. It's like, oh sure, now you talk about hockey.
Well, talk about a hockey player, but
yeah, but I mean, like, goodness.
No, and that was the thing for like everybody, like ABC, NBC, NBC Bay Area, NBC Sport. Of course, the people like Kurz and Shang and Pashelka, of course, they're going to mention it. But it was amazing to see that. Well, we obviously saw the thing with Tara Sloan and Sportsnet and. But again, all the local radio or all the local like television media, the news, I don't even know what the KNTV, is that what it is?
NBC Bay Area, yeah.
Yeah, NBC Bay Area, Cron, like they all had it. You know who didn't have anything about it? Shockingly enough.
Wait, can I guess? 95.7 the game?
You would be correct.
Oh, yes.
Not a damn thing about it. But anywho, yeah, I think, well, the point, read the room. I'll tell you my thoughts on this. It's you don't want to say something along the lines of, that's a dark place. I just okay, I can salvage this.
Trust me, I've been going through this all day trying to figure out what we're going to say on this part tonight.
Well, for me, there's never a reason for somebody to face any form of violence based on their opinion, whether it's political, religious, what have you.
Right.
That I don't agree with at all. People have opinions. If you don't agree with them, if they're directly in conflict with what you agree with, and if you still want to remain friends, you say, let's talk about something else, or I'm going to, if we can have a constructive conversation, where I can listen to you and try to understand your side of it, and you show me the same courtesy, then you can get somewhere. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, exactly what Rock said, and a lot of people said, was, dude, you have to read the room. Honestly, here's, I guess, kind of one of the things that really got to me. why would you even share this? Why would you share this story if you weren't like I think I get what he was trying to say in that he was just trying to point out that it's so horrible that there's a group of people out there that cannot speak their mind or their opinion or share their opinion without being scared of being physically harmed just because that opinion conflicts with somebody else's. I think that's what he was trying to say.
Right.
And that he felt that was sad, like the whole thing
Sure.
of, is this really what we've come to? Which I get that.
Right.
But I think you also, to a certain extent, it's, well, when did we get to this point? Was it when someone came down an escalator and started talking about immigration and calling a group of people rapists and sowing division? Like, if he wants to support the Republican Party, by all means, there are conservative values that I agree with, and there are conservative values that I don't. And it's the same thing, whether you want to call it liberal or left or one, it's like there are certain things I go, you have a good point and I agree with that. And there's other things I look at and I go, I don't really agree with that. And because I feel it's either hypocritical or it's just, it doesn't make sense for me. But that's the way you feel. That's great. Again, I just go back to this whole thing of like, what did you expect to get from sharing this on social media? That's kind of like my biggest point. And how do you square the circle of, I'm with Evander Kane and I'm for,
Right.
hockey is for everyone, blah, 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 2 months ago. And then 2 months later, you're talking about how you support the Republican Party and and you mention Donald Trump. And there's so little there that you don't really know what exactly was said. And who knows how Couture said that?
Right.
Like, there's just no context in all this. And the fact that, like, he wouldn't talk to anybody, like, even if he did it whether it was with Kurz or Sportsnet or whatever, like, if he tried to offer some sort of context, like, honestly, one of the things that I want to ask is, how many drinks had you had when this happened?
Right.
I'm not saying that's the cause, or if that's just cause for popping somebody in the mouth, but some people, I am so guilty of saying stupid shit when I've had cocktails. I am so guilty of it. So, we don't know how many drinks he might have been in.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't know where he was or anything.
Yeah.
And
Toronto,
how
last
this
time I
escalated.
looked, pretty big city.
But, if he's at a bar during a pandemic where the NHL's in a bubble, it's not a good look.
Perhaps.
But it's I mean, you're always entitled to your opinions, and you shouldn't be attacked about your opinions. If he wants to do that, that's fine. And he doubled down, like we mentioned, the Tara Sloan thing, and how he mentioned that his dad was a cop. He was also a firefighter.
For a much longer amount of time, but
and I believe he's also a lacrosse ref now. which throw that in, because I think that's what his handle is on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because he then would go on to double down further, and then later on, I think it was around 2:00. He would write the note about his apology, and by then, damage was done, and hockey Twitter was already raging. Sharks fans were more than upset.
Well, but see, that's the thing, though, is it was kind of down the middle. Well, I don't want to say down the middle, but That's where we're at in this day and age, where everything is so hyper partisan
Right.
that whatever I say, if I'm wearing a red tie and you're wearing a blue tie, whatever I say is just wrong if you're wearing a blue tie, and vice versa. And that is what is so sad and pathetic about where we're at. I thought we were all supposed to advance and evolve, and instead it feels like we keep regressing. It's it's sad, but I do see that Logan later would tweet, I'm completely wrong for going public with my political views. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think most are at this point. Like, just keep it to yourself for right now, because everybody's so hyper partisan.
Especially in a campaign year. I
Well,
mean, it's
it's an
just
election.
magnified, and it happened during the convention. That
Well,
that makes it even more crazier.
dude, you think about it. It happens during the convention. As the convention's going on, we're in such a polarized time. It's an election year. There are people that have just had enough. And the other thing that I don't know gets taken totally into account is there's a large amount of people who have been cooped up for 6 months.
Yep.
And they're just looking for any outlet for all of this pent up energy. And yes, let's go attack Logan Couture, or I must go defend Logan Couture. It's
Right.
it's this part and parcel. And I've seen threads on Reddit or Facebook that have been shut down or deleted because it's that you can't have. That's where we're at. Is you can't have any type of civil discourse or an intellectual conversation about any of this without people devolving in, and everything is team politics.
Right.
What color jersey are you wearing? Well, then you're wrong. Or what color jersey are you wearing? Oh, well, then you're on my team. Get over here. You're my best friend now. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah. It's. I mean, that part definitely Logan is on the money in that part, but you know that whole tweet would set aside everything that happened, was almost to a whole hold my beer as everything went down in the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks decided to boycott their game, which
No, 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 no. Let's call it what it is. People strike. Assholes then boycott the people that strike. I think is the paraphrase is what I'm paraphrasing what I read earlier, which I thought was a fantastic way to put it. But yeah, there wasn't a boycott; it was players striked.
and so the Bucks Magic game would not be played. I can't believe we're talking basketball in here. I feel like 95. I feel like
Sports,
95-7.
sports other than hockey would not be played.
Yeah, and then that started a trickle down effect, because then the Brewers Reds game would not be played. You know, and then it moved on to San Diego and Seattle, and then the trickle down effect in MLS, and then eventually Giants and Dodgers. One of the long time rivalries of baseball. Shut
No.
down about 45 minutes before game time,
I don't even know if it was that because there
because they posted
was
lineups and everything.
they had video of them like still prepping the field, putting bases out, watering down the infield, like all the normal game day prep that you do in the final like half an hour leading up to starting a game. So they really held it down to the wire, which if you look at some of the reports that came out on Twitter, it seemed as though the Dodgers were all about like, yeah, we're not playing. It's just not going to happen. It kind of made Gabe Kapler would not kind of tip his hand one way or the other, but it sounded like there was a little bit of dissension in his clubhouse, that there were some players that were like, no, we want to play. but it is what it is. Uh, I hope I can still use that phrase now. But it happened. The big thing, of course, being is that after all of those shutdown things happened, Evander Kane.
Oh man. Yep. I mean, in I believe Logan put out his apology at like 2:07, and then 2:08. Evander Kane gets on Twitter, and I'm trying to see if I can pull it up really quick. But I mean, my goodness, he was
If I
very
remember
upset.
correctly, it's incredibly insulting as a black man in hockey, the lack of action and acknowledgement from the NHL, just straight up insulting.
Yeah.
Like, boom. The other thing too, he did a hit, I believe, with Sportsnet or something along
Sportsnet
those.
650, and then Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, there was a couple hits, and I mean, as you can see, it's great to write statements, it's great to send tweets, it's great to post stories and pictures on Instagram, but at the end of the day, it's going to be about real action. And whoa,
Yeah.
here we go. See, this is what happens when you got puck guy at the controls.
Shut up. Here, we'll do this.
But it's the moment is gone.
Whatever.
It's
Go
gone.
ahead. Okay, go on.
So, but no. Anyway, the point being, unfortunately, that still isn't occurring, and we need to be better. Now, this reminded me of something, and so I went back. Did you know that 3 months ago to the date, right, May 26th, I have my show notes from Pucknologist episode 103. Let me just read you a couple of them. It says, Evander Kane takes part in a racism special on NBCSN Bay Area. Owner Hasso Plattner issued a statement in support of Kane.
Right.
You had Kendall Coyne tweeting out a positive statement admitting not knowing what taking a knee actually meant 4 years ago. You had players such as Couture and EK65 post messages of support on social media. And the question I asked then 3 months ago was, will anything actually change? We've seen protests before. Rodney King, Oscar Grant, all of those things.
Yep.
3 months after George Floyd is murdered, now we've got Jacob Blake. I don't know. And again, I want us to be able, obviously we talk about sports and that is a distraction. I do want us to be able to cover a little bit of this because I do think it's,
right.
We're a Sharks podcast. We're talking about two sharks. Now, did they get political? Yes, we didn't.
No.
We're just talking about what happened with them.
Right. And Jerk, I thought, I'm trying to put together an idea of what I was going to say tonight, but Jerk actually killed it on Twitter.
Who?
So, Hockey Jerk. I know. He says, I'm just speechless. Clearly, nothing has been learned over the last 10 weeks. We need change. We can't continue to live in a society that doesn't value the lives of the people who aren't white. People don't like the changes to the status quo, but here's reality. The status quo sucks. Notice how the people who respond with vitriol to what is going on are those who either haven't experienced it or haven't witnessed it. Wake up and think about someone beside yourself. And, we also have a fan of ours, Steve, No Tree Fitty. And in regards to, hockey-wise, he was saying, I think it's a lack of education, but it's also the bubbles that some of these players grew up in. There aren't a lot of people of color in these rural Canadian towns that a lot of these guys grow up in. Getting that much money in your early 20s can't help either.
Yep.
So you see all the circles going on around it, and it makes sense. It makes sense that you have that. But, I mean, it's like, my goodness. Where do you learn that? It's ridiculous. Just how you just assume. Oh well, no, you don't look like me, so whatever.
Well, yes, but however it starts, you learn words, and you learn that some words provoke a response. And so when you want to provoke that response, those are the words that you use. If the words didn't provoke a response, they probably wouldn't ever get used.
And they're
You
not
know what I mean?
and they're not some of the best words.
Well, they are. George Carlin, a long time ago, said something about, he did a whole thing about language, and the power that it can have, obviously. But he said something along the lines of, words are not inherently racist. Don't be afraid of language. Be afraid of the racist asshole who uses it like that.
Right.
It's like, or the whole thing of, I can't remember the quote per se, but it's the whole thing of, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And again, I just go back to, dude, I think the locker room for the Sharks is going to be real interesting come November.
Yeah.
Unless Logan and Kane get together, and I mean, who knows? Now, I don't want to. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but there are a couple other notable Sharks that have been called out for following some suspect Twitter accounts.
Yep. Or liking such tweets.
Yes. So, I mean, don't. This is not for one person. Now, I've also, one of the things that Jerk mentioned, which I was kind of talking about earlier. It's this vitriol. It's this visceral reaction that you don't even think. You just, you're just wrong. You don't. There's no understanding or no trying to figure out, like, okay, look, I get it that this is how you feel, but can you explain to me why? Because this is how I feel, and I'm trying to relate and understand both sides of the coin.
Right.
And there's just such a group out there that is like, no, heads is the right side, no, tails is the right side. And that's where we're at. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. But and here's the thing: you see what the NBA did, and there's some rumors that the Lakers and Clippers might sit out, but there is a meeting supposedly for the NBA to go onward tomorrow. MLB,
really?
Yeah, MLB. Who knows what's going to happen with what's supposed to go on there.
Well, I will say, at least from what we've seen from the Giants locally, there's supposed to be 2 7-inning games tomorrow. So essentially a doubleheader that starts at 1:00. So they are making up that aspect. But let me, if I can, just invoke one more thing here.
Go for it.
And this is me. I'm not trying to poke the bear. I'm not trying to stir the pot. It's a genuine question. Jacob Blake was shot, I want to say 4 days ago.
Yeah, it was over the weekend.
Yeah. Why did it take these leagues 4 days to react to it? Like, there were games played on Monday and Tuesday. Why didn't they react on Monday or Tuesday? And it's a genuine question. I'm not trying to stir the pot. I'm generally wondering why it took them that long, to make the statement. Now, were they waiting for it to come out that they find out that he's paralyzed? Were they waiting, or is this circled around? I don't know the 17-year-old kid's name, Kyle something, but were they? What was it? Yes, they were very upset about Jacob Blake, but Kyle was the thing that tipped it. You know what I mean?
Doubled down on it. In either way, I mean, there were already some protests for the whole thing, and that's where the Illinois kid, went up there, which is just despicable, just absolutely despicable. Absolutely. But getting back to what I was trying to get at was, like, you saw MLS shut down tonight. I mean, the Quakes were supposed to play. Our friend Ted Ramey was supposed to call that one.
MLS shut down. Did anybody notice? No? Okay. Keep going.
The A's played on. I think they were already underway when that whole thing happened. Of course, the Giants shut down, and then NBA shut down the 3 games they played. And then I think hockey fans, especially online, were kind of waiting for, you know, the
Follow
NHL
the
to
leader.
follow the lead.
Yeah, because that's typically what the NHL does. They go, "What are you doing, NBA? Okay, we'll do that." I mean, wasn't the NHL essentially like the last ones to like pull the plug on the season?
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, I think they followed the NBA suit, and then MLB finally gave in, but they weren't the trendsetter of sorts.
well, the other thing being too is that MLB wasn't into their season, you know.
Right, they're in spring training.
Yeah, but it was, you know what I mean. It was like you had 2 leagues that were right at the precipice of when the big money starts rolling in,
Right.
and everything went kaboom. But
And yes, not so mid-major. WNBA also shut down, and had some interesting shirts too, spelling out Jacob Blake's name, and then some of them actually had like gunshots on the back of their white shirts
Jesus
to really
Christ.
send the message.
See, that's compelling. And then, and of course, there's again, I don't want to sit there and say that people's opinions don't matter. They do. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but there's a faction of people out there that say, hey, you're here to entertain me, so play your sports. You know, shut up and dribble, or that type of stuff. And it's
Right.
just kind of like, well, we're all human beings. We can all be impacted by this. What does your vocational choice have to do with, that, oh, well, you know what? I'm a professional basketball player. So when, earthquakes hit or this, it doesn't impact me quite like someone else. No, if it affects you, it affects you.
Right. And it affects you in maybe not the same way, but it affects you. It's almost like some people take sports as like it's a video game. It's like they're playing. It's like real life Madden or real life NHL 20. That these guys don't have feelings and all that stuff.
Well, gee, it wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that we literally have tournaments for playing video games now, and that we've
Yeah.
people, you know what video games were good for when I was growing up? It was to kill time because you couldn't go outside because the weather was horrible.
Yeah.
But as soon as the weather broke, the console went away and you went out and did stuff.
Right.
And now, again, it's like, look, I don't want to pass judgment. If playing video games 24/7 is your thing, sure, knock yourself out. And if you can make a career out of it, more power to you. I don't think it's the most constructive way to spend one's time, but I get it. I grew up dumping more of my fair share quarters at Golfland and other arcades and, having fun. But, that's when I was 13 and 14, not 26. Again, no judgment.
Mm-mm.
But I am going to make fun of you a little bit.
Yeah. So I think there's
crack wise.
So there isn't that people don't think there's an emotional value to some of these players in regards to that. But more so, there was a lot of frustration, and I think there's a lot of it sensing, and tell me if I'm wrong, HA, there's a lot of sense it's like, come on, someone take the lead, like either take a knee, shut down, or anything. And, looking at what's trending on Twitter still, many left frustrated by the NHL's decision to continue playing as leagues across the U.S. postpone games over Jacob Blake shooting. And the NHL, to me, I thought was an absolute fail.
See, again, I go back to the whole idea of we are in such a polarized time that no matter what the NHL did, somebody was going to dump on it.
Oh, yeah.
They could have taken the lead and said, again, like I said, it took 4 days for this to happen. What if the NHL had announced yesterday morning that, due to the events in Wisconsin, blah, 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 we are not playing today and blah, 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 blah. Like, what if they had taken the lead? Well, then you would have had, some cross mix of people come out and say, "Oh, I can't believe they're politicizing sports," and but it's again everybody as great as the internet is for certain things, like obviously finding information insanely quickly.
Right.
And it's dude, without the internet, I wouldn't have a job. That's my thing. So like, I get that, but it wouldn't surprise me if in 2, 3, 4 decades, people are going to look back at the 20 aughts. Right? No, I'm sorry, not the aughts. That's 2000 to 2010, but the teens, if you will, they're going to look between 2010 and 2020, 50 years from now, and they're going to go, Christ, what an awful time that must have been because of social media. Because, like maybe there is no social media in 50 years. We never know what's going to happen, but they'll look at it and go, God, could you imagine how time consuming and exhausting it must have been for people to maintain Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and this and MySpace and all the other ones that all started it. And, one of the things that it might be my biggest pet peeve is when I hear the term, I'm trying to think what it's like. They're a Twitter celebrity or a YouTube celebrity or whatever. No, well, influencer too, because to me it's like, well, okay, well then what's the number? Like what do I have to have 10,000 followers to be legally, or well, I don't want to say legally, but that is that what is it 100,000? Like what's the threshold for I can now be referred to as an influencer, or is it that when you first get paid to drink something or wear something or say something that you would never do, but now someone's going to give you money? It's basically saying that you're a whore. Like someone will pay you money to do something you wouldn't do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I get sponsorship deals, whether it's like Nike and Michael Jordan. It's well, he's already going to wear shoes. So if you can make money wearing those shoes, absolutely. But it's like when you've got somebody where you literally have pictures of them 4 years ago drinking nothing but Coke, and all of a sudden you see them in all these photos, Pepsi, and it's like, oh, why? Oh, because they're paying you. Yeah, There's a word for that. That you're basically prostituting yourself for stuff that you would never do. Not to mention the fact that, and there's an account. Oh, I wish I knew the name of the account. It's fantastic. But they will literally take certain photos of quote unquote famous people. One of my favorite terms of all time is let's stop making, what is it? Or it's that whole idea of, why are people famous for being famous? Or it's like, let's stop making stupid people famous, something along those lines. But the thing that just cracks me up from all of this is the hypocrisy, but the photos. There's like 20,000 filters on these photos. Nobody looks how they look in real life with all these stupid filters. Like, two of the things that I really, if you can't just like get rid of social media, full stop, just what happened to, let's just do email. That's I'm going to keep up with some people. But if you can't get rid of social media, full stop, let's get rid of all the filters and let's get rid of the delete button, because you can't delete what you said in real life and you don't look like that. So let's get rid of the filters. But there's some account that will take photos from these quote unquote famous people that are only famous on social media, and they'll reverse engineer all the stuff that they did. And so they'll put it's like, here's what they put and here's what the photo really looks like before all that crap. And it's fantastic. It's like, I'm so tired of this glossy, just sellout. There you go. J95 nailing it perfect. People selling out, or this whole aspect of you're putting out all this fake crap, and for what? And honestly, it's hard to have respect. Again, it's like, look, this is your thing. Fine. Like I'm not going to judge it. I'm not going to treat you differently because of it, but I definitely don't, not the, it's hard for me to respect it when you see this idea of, I don't know, people following someone, not because, like, I get it, like Pink or Logan Couture or some other celebrity has follows because these people really like the way they play hockey. They really like the way the person sings or their songwriting or their acting or whatever their ability is that has made them famous. And it's like, what the hell is Kim Kardashian's talent? I haven't figured it out. She's famous for being famous. Well, how did she get that way?
Well,
I honestly don't know.
Well, her dad was a defense attorney for the OJ trial, and
okay, I
then
get that.
And
so
then
her dad should be famous. Why her?
Well, and then there was a specific videotape.
Oh, no. And the only reason why I said, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it's everybody likes a comeback story. Rocky, the
boy.
Mighty Ducks.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
All those,
we
so
Kim
there? Kardashian. What? Well, yeah, no, she got cum on her back in that video.
God.
I thought. No, but so that's what she's famous for. What a. Okay.
But she took that and flourished into something.
What? Again, what is her talent?
It went to the reality show, which led to fashion
reality
lines.
Shows are not reality, but go ahead.
That's true. I'm just putting it as the category. But you had the there you go. Thank you, Chris Santa Cruz Rex. But I mean, it eventually went onward to, clothing lines, makeup,
see, and I don't
all that stuff.
How I don't understand how that all came to be. It's like,
why? It was a marketing in the reality show led to that.
Well, that and
people paying attention to them.
Well, and the family had money.
Yeah,
takes money to make money, but.
So
I'm just dumbfounded by the whole thing, and the fact that when you hear her speak a lot of the time, she doesn't sound like the most educated person on the planet, which makes me go, you're making stupid people more stupid. Like, use your platform to impart something worthwhile. I don't know. Yep. Either way, fine. Sure. Again, if you enjoy reality TV and all that stuff, that's great. Good for you. That's your way to kill time. I'm just not a fan of it because, quite simply, it's not reality. And, I had a conversation about this with a friend of mine. Did you watch whatever it is? And I go, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
So you never heard of such and such? No. What is it? And it's this great reality show. And I went, you lost me already. I'm like, I can't do it. She's, why not? This chick was such a bitch. And oh my God, you should have saw. And I said, no. Let me show you. And I'm like, let me tell you something. We hang out here every Sunday watching football. I go, I guarantee you that after I could come in here and I could take 3 or 4 hours of video from every day that we're here on, watching football and hanging out. I go, if I put a wireless mic on everybody, recorded everything, and I could take all the footage back to my house and within a couple of days spit out a half an hour slice of video that makes me look like the most erudite and charming guy on the planet and would make you look like the dumbest dumpster fire on the planet. Even though we both know that both of those things are insanely untrue.
Yeah.
I go, but that's because it's selective editing. I'm like, if it was reality, the only reality that exists when it comes to television programming is sports. That's it. Everything else is, even if it's not scripted, it's manipulated and edited. So.
Even Wheel of Fortune, folks.
There you go.
Seriously. With that, we should wrap this thing up. AJ's done a lot of stuff lately. He's hung out with Sonia Tydinko of NBC Sports California. He's done a recent episode of The Technologist with Rocket and AJ. Or Rocket
I
and
am
Jerk.
AJ. Yes, I did do that show with myself. Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
What time is it? 11:53. Okay, yeah, that's probably why. So follow us on the social, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. And if in case you missed anything or you want to watch it again, check us out at tealtownusa.com. There are audio editions of what AJ did with the Technologist and Sonia, of course. So with that, we will wrap this up. AJ, your final thoughts, and of course, where the people can find you on the social.
So after everything that has been said, I want to leave everybody on a kind of an upbeat note as we tail off this evening. There's a new hockey team that's going to be in the league pretty soon, and today they put out a tweet. And that tweet highlighted the 5 most popular items that they are selling right now. And I am proud to report, ladies and gentlemen, none of them are made by Fanatics. So we're on the right track is what I'm saying. Between the Arizona Coyotes working with the company, not Fanatics, to run their shops, and that the Kraken so far are evidently pushing a lot, because if you look at the video, it does look like a Fanatics experience, but when you look at it a little closer, you don't see any Fanatics logos around. So the fact that their top 5 selling items are not Fanatics stuff, and they touted the label of each one because they're using some nice stuff. They got some Lululemon stuff, and they got some high level stuff. Yeah, so maybe Seattle kind of pushing the envelope forward. I enjoyed that. I hate that you're already making me like you when you're in our division, but good on you. Keep it up, Kraken. So yeah, everybody, you guys know where I'm at on social media at AJ_strong. There you go.
I anticipate the Kraken Frappuccino down the road as a sponsorship. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram.
It's going to be a insanely missed opportunity if they, whoever the sports station is up there, if they just don't open up every show with, "Hey, what's cracking?" I mean, I'm just, God, it'd be so good.
Hey, that's probably what will be the version of our show will be.
Yeah, that's going to be the Seattle podcast. Is it What's Cracking?
Right.
Thank you, or I'm sorry, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes,
you're welcome
absolutely.
For that.
I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. Be kind to one another. We've been through a lot of crap this year. Let's just get through this last stretch and enjoy each other eventually, right?
And if you do get just too cooped up and compressed and need to let it out, Jonathan Marshall Show's account is still public. Just don't mention his children and you're fine.
You know, he would have been a great Vancouver Canuck 10 years ago.
Don't get profane, but you can chirp.
Yes. And don't include the family members. Just
clever chirps.
Right. Oh, geez, Jerry F. As we head out, and when they play Vancouver, it will be Short House from the Crack House.
Oh, yes.
Of course it would be.
No, you need to figure out how to merge that voice with like somebody on crack, and then you're talking about it.
We released the Kraken at the Crack House. Yeah, I know. Oh.
Remember, when they go low, we get high.
Well, it is Seattle, so it's legal there too. All right. With that, we're going to get out of here. Check out all our content on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Follow us on the social. Check out our most recent content. Appreciate each and every one of you joining us for this extended edition. And until next time, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal, and Black Lives Matter. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.